Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Human rights concerns, not part of my job. That's according to the financial regulator who's deciding whether to change the rules, potentially allowing oil giant Saudi Aramco to float on the London Stock Exchange. But Andrew Bailey of the Financial Conduct Authority told MPs that he had met the Saudi firm's finance director earlier this year. Critics of the $2 trillion deal include some relatives of the September 11th victims who claim the Saudi kingdom bears responsibility for that atrocity, an accusation the Saudis have long denied. Our economics correspondent Helia Ebrahimi has this report.
As the prospect of Saudi Aramco's vast flotation gets closer, it's not just the controversy over whether the UK changes its stock market rules that are causing anger. Today, the regulator said he was keeping an open mind, but campaigners insist that politics and human rights should also be in the frame.
This stock market deal is such a bad deal for so many reasons. It's bad for human rights, it's bad for women's rights, it's bad for the climate.
And according to some 9/11 widows, it would also help fund extremism and the spread of terror. They've been fighting for Saudi Arabia to be held accountable for the 9/11 attacks through American courts, a case the kingdom has always denied. Now they're horrified that everyday investors could end up funding the bank account of the Saudi state.
My husband was in the World Trade Center on 9/11. He was on the 94th floor. And for me, as someone whose husband worked on Wall Street and was killed on September 11th, to see Wall Street financial houses wanting to buy shares, it's particularly painful. I think morally speaking, it's very upsetting. Aramco is not a company. Aramco is owned by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So in essence, if you're buying a share of Aramco, you're buying a share into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and everything that stands for. And I think when you look at what the kingdom has done around the world, I don't know how any sound moral investor would want to buy into that.
But today, the city financial regulator dashed any hopes that those sort of issues had been playing on his mind.
We have to make the judgment on market integrity, in essence. I'm open to that debate as it's happening. I think I have to say to you, any other views on Saudi Arabia and Saudi Aramco to do with other issues that are not in our remit are not ones for us.
Though it may be hard to hold that position. Meanwhile, over in Saudi Arabia, the country is trying to foster a new image. Its newly influential crown prince is pushing for modernization, recently hosting a lavish conference of ex-presidents, billionaires and corporate royalty, aimed to show off his vision, which includes a new high-tech city, Neom.
With energy that flows from the sun and wind.
Marketed as the nexus of human progress and innovation.
A startup the size of a country that will change the way we live and work forever.
An ambitious and curiously westernized presentation, but some business leaders say it shows the desire for change.
People were refreshed, I think, with this new vision. 70% of Saudis are under 30. A lot of them are coming back with skills from abroad, and they're anxious to change and modernize. So the direction of travel is very clear. 38% of all business startups in Saudi are by women. That is a big change.
But campaigners doubt the Aramco sell-off is part of this shift.
Imagine that someone who's been addicted, say, to heroin most of their life comes to you and says, "This time, I'm really going to clean up. I just need a lot of your money in advance." We should be very careful about that kind of deal.
So in your mind, Saudi Aramco is like a heroin addict?
Saudi Arabia is addicted to oil money. The government gets over 90% of its revenues from oil. They keep saying year after year that they're going to change. And then the price of oil goes back up, and they call off their reforms.
Today, Saudi Aramco supplies more crude oil to the global economy than any other oil producer.
A big boast, and maybe that global reach will influence events back home.
Business can sometimes do things that governments can't. Saudi is in the process of reform. It's slow, but by encouraging from the inside rather than shouting from the sidelines, we can be more effective.
Can a country that's so conservative really make the leap that the Crown Prince is talking about?
I think, as Margaret Thatcher used to say, there is no alternative.
Perhaps for the UK too, there is little alternative at a time when Brexit means new ways and new partners. The financial regulator said it'll meet investors worried about how Aramco fits with British values, but inevitably there'll be a temptation to prioritise British interests.
Helia Ebrahimi reporting.